Do you want me to introduce myself first, or do you want to go?
There you go. You do it first.
Okay.
Because I feel like you have it all planned out a lot more than I do.
I'm glad I give off that impression. In case you're new here to my channel, I'm Anna. Hey! Anna Coulter, no relation to Ann Coulter. If you don't know who that is, just, you're so lucky.
Blessed.
Blessed. Truly, seriously, no relation. I graduated from college 2 years ago, just about 2 years, 6 months. May 2015. I got a degree in film and video production. Woo! With a minor in business to please my mother.
You made it, kid.
And after I graduated, I went to the University of Toledo, and I moved back home to the suburbs of Cleveland. And that's where I'm coming to you from, is my childhood home outside of Cleveland. Yeah, that's life. I guess I currently just started a full-time job position, salary, life.
Now you really made it, kid.
So in a lot of ways, life is doing a lot better for me now than it was even a year ago, especially 2.5 years ago.
So, hi, I'm Ellen. I just graduated from Kent State University in spring of 2017. Before I attended Kent State, I went to Cuyahoga Community College for 4 years after I graduated high school because I honestly had no idea what to do with my life. So that was a great place, plug for Tri-C, for me to slowly but surely figure out what the heck to do with my life. And I ended up at Kent, and I was actually a theater major first, but decided I kind of hated that. So I switched to communication studies and public communication, and I loved it. So that's what I graduated with. And currently, I'm also back home in my childhood house with my wonderful parents. Who,
to be clear, she doesn't live here.
No,
this is my house, but she lives like 3 blocks
so I'm
away.
here constantly. So in the next year, I'm kind of torn. I want to get a job that's more long term. I also want to travel more, and I also am strongly interested in going back to get my master's, but I'm just not sure how realistic that is for me in the next
What
year.
would you want to get your master's in?
That's one of the other things that I've been really on the fence about, is if I should continue with more communication studies or go into something more politically based, even like international relations, that sort of thing. That's always been a strong interest of mine. So that would be the other part of me deciding going back to school, is deciding what I want to put that time and that money into and getting more of a concentrated education on that. My friend just told me she's going on a trip, 6-month trip / I guess volunteer program to Peru. And she said, you should come with me. And I'm like, oh yeah. Like, but the thing is, it's $500 for 6 weeks. So just stuff like that keeps popping up, and I'm like, maybe I should just drop everything and travel more. But I don't know how.
Traveling for the sake of travel is fun and is all good. But for me, I think focusing more, right now anyway, focusing more on like what's going to get me farther and what I want to do, or figuring out exactly what I want to do, or if that's even like a realistic thing to want to do or be able to actually do. So like dropping everything for 6 months in Peru is like, yeah, that would be really fun. But I think that that's a big problem. Like, one, I think there's like two, the whole millennial travel thing is like, I think that some of it's like really stupid. To put it bluntly, like, one, I know a lot of millennials who can't afford to travel abroad for months at a time because they have things like rent and like pets and money to worry about. But then like a lot of people who do, and it's just kind of like a way of like putting off reality. So like I understand the appeal to it, but I don't think at the end of the day that it's necessarily getting you anywhere.
Right.
I think that the only way to really kind of figure out what you want to do is you just have to try it.
Yeah.
And you have to recognize that you might not like it, or you might not be good at it. Mm-hmm. Or you might like it and be good at it, but like it leads to a certain lifestyle that you couldn't sustain long term.
Yeah.
I think we get lost too much in the abstract.
For sure.
Than we do in just like
doing something.
Just do it.
Yeah.
Right? Just like go out and do it, and if you don't like it or if you're terrible at it, like, oh well, live and learn.
Give it the old college try.
I've never understood that saying.
Me either.
What are your like biggest fears? Like, okay, but we're gonna like scale
volcanoes.
It back. We're gonna scale it back. What are your biggest fear? Like, we're gonna frame it within like a year. So like in a year, if you're watching this, what are you afraid of?
That I still haven't made a decision, and I have gone on a trip to Peru just to procrastinate more, I think is my biggest fear at this moment in time is, I don't even know if I did get over the fear, if there would just be a lack of motivation, but I still think that would be fear disguising itself as laziness. I'll still be clueless.
So as a person that graduated 2.5 years ago now, is that I'm still figuring it out, and I've come to, the more I've like kind of like wrestled with it, and I still sometimes feel like I'm not doing enough, that I should be doing something else, because I think that there's just so much out there that I want to be different, and it's not different.
Yeah.
That I just feel like, but I don't know what to do. Do you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Like, I don't know how to take that inner anxiety about everything. About like, just like, I'm like, I don't like the way politics are done in this country, like from a very local level. Like, there's a lot of things that are happening in the city that I'm like, who is in charge here? Like, why is this happening? This is really, really stupid. And then feeling powerless to really do anything about that, because I feel like I majored in film and I only have like arts experience. And I've also come to the realization I'd probably make a terrible politician.
I think you'd be good at it.
Oh no.
Yeah.
My problem is that I'm not good at keeping my mouth shut.
That's fine. We need more people like that.
But
the president is like that. I don't.
Yeah, but the president.
I don't think that's
the president has a
qualification
dick,
anymore.
and I have a vagina.
This is true.
And therefore, it's an entirely.
Which is why I'm saying we need more people like you in office than Anna.
Well, I'm not saying that I would do a bad job being in office. I'm saying I'd be a terrible job of getting elected, because I would make a basket of deplorables comment and not apologize for it.
I still stand by that one.
This isn't about you, and it's that kind of comment that would just make me not electable, because I just would be like, I think you're stupid and wrong, and I'm not going to say that I think that you potentially could be right. I'm just going to be like, nah. So I wouldn't get elected. I'm pretty unelectable.
This segment was paid for by Anna for America.
I don't know what year I could run for president, technically.
I can run in 2028, so you probably could too. I think I'll be 35 in 2028. Because I'm going to be 36. So I can run for president 2028.
Where were we? Oh,
International relations.
Just that I don't think the uncertainty about whether or not you're doing the right thing never goes away.
Okay. Yeah, I had a professor tell me that after he asked me 25 times to get my master's, and I told him I really don't know what I'm doing now, let alone getting a master's. And he's like, "That's okay. I have a doctorate and I still don't know what I'm doing." I'm like, all right.
Yeah, I think that's and it doesn't, and recognizing that
there's a word for it. What's the word for it? There's an actual term for this, and I used it 20 times last semester because I was like, "That's me."
Well, until Ellen figures that out. But
is it imposter syndrome? I think that's what it was. Where you think
no, okay, yeah, that is a thing, and I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
But I don't
you're
think
not
this isn't
qualified for anything. And that you don't belong anywhere. Well, and when you are somewhere, you're like,
I also don't.
Am I sure?
Yeah, but I don't yes and no, because I do. There are things that I'm like, I am qualified to do this. I know, my current job.
That's the other thing, is that I'm still forgetting that. Hey, I'm actually qualified for things now that I have a degree, and I've done.
Well, that's my brother.
A campaign and
hi. He doesn't know what he's doing with his life either.
Yeah, none of us do.
So I don't think it's necessarily imposter syndrome, because it's not that I don't think I could do anything, or that I feel oh man, someone's gonna find me out. It's more of am I applying myself the best way possible? Should I be doing more? How could I be doing more? And not those are questions that I just don't know the answer to.
Sure.
But so I would just, my sage advice as a 24-year-old, oh god, I'm so old, 24-year-old child. My sage advice as a 24-year-old child would be that in a year, if you're watching this, don't be upset when you still feel like you don't know what you're doing, but take those weird opportunities and do things that are. So you might have taken an opportunity and you're not sure if this is the right choice that you made. I think that's everybody has that. Mm-hmm. Hopefully most of the American people are wondering that as well, in which case, no, you did not make the right choice. You made the incorrect choice. Look at the shitstorm we currently live in. Yeah. So I don't know. Is there... She wants more tea. This is how you drink an entire pot of tea.
You just talk. And this is what we really do. We just decided to film it this time.
Yeah, and kind of try to focus on topics. So this one was kind of rambly and long, and future editing Anna is going to have so much fun trying to make this a coherent thing. And it might not, if it's not coherent...
Sorry. We tried. This is just a summary of different types of things. We'll be going in more depth
so this
later.
Yeah, so more of it. They'll be more themed. They'll be more contained than this one was, because we kind of were who are we? What do we want?
I mean, we talked about our past. We talked about where we are now, where we want to be in the future. We talked about politics. We talked about jobs. We talked about traveling. We covered a lot.
We did, and some of that might have been lost because the camera stopped recording at some point.
Yeah, that's true. That is very true.
But yeah, so this is Tea Time Talks.
Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time, unless the crazy length of this video has scared you off, because it's probably going to be a long one.
We clink.
You know what that made me think of? Troy and Abed in the morning.
Who's Troy and who's Abed, though?
You never watched Community?
Yes, I'm saying which one is Troy and which one of us is Abed.
Oh, I'm definitely Abed. I'm sorry. Was the lanky filmmaker person that's a massive nerd about television shows not the giveaway?
That's cool.